Welcome to the Mountains Are Everywhere podcast. My name's Ryan, and I want to talk about the outdoors, mental health, and everything that connects the two. So lace up those boots, cinch down those packs, and let's head for the mountains. Try my best to again, leave everything organic. I do very minimal editing.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, with the exception of, I think my first 3, since then the only editing I do is if I'm way over time, because I like to stay around the hour mark, hour 10.
Got it.
If it goes after that, I usually try to cut some of it up. But other than that, yeah, I try to just be here's my freeze up moment. What's the word?
Organic.
Organic's a word. I just try not to do any editing. Just what's the word? Oh my gosh.
Authentic.
Authentic. There you go. Just,
Bam.
Everything just be as authentic as I can make it.
Yeah.
Anyways, welcome back, everybody. Another episode of the Mountains Are Everywhere podcast. I'm here with Martin, the creative mind behind Mansera Outdoors, and very thrilled to have him. We honestly have very little FaceTime together, so I'm looking forward to this conversation. But I met him at the bow shoot that we did earlier in the year. I had seen him on YouTube a little bit, and it was good to meet him and talk a little bit. And now we're going to talk a little bit more and kind of get to know each other and talk about hunting and fishing and whatever else comes up. So thanks for being here. I appreciate
thank you for the invite. Yeah,
good
for
to
sure.
have you, man. Real quick, I want to shout out Maze Outdoors. Got some new hats in. I had to snag one. He is running some more, I think, because these ones did so well. So if you want one, check out Maze Outdoors on Instagram and get in an order for them. There's some pretty nice hats. So let's see. So I mentioned you are. Have you listened all my podcasts so far?
I am on the last one, the part 2 of.
Okay. So I think I mentioned it in part 1, where my first, quite a few episodes have been very mental health focused, which is, a big topic of the podcast. Mm-hmm. But I want to start kind of almost transitioning into kind of digging into the things that we can get outside and do, like the actual hunting that we do, fishing, how we got into it, how do we, get other people into it. I want to kind of transition into doing episodes like that where a first timer might hear this and hear us talk about something and be like, I want to try that, and now because of what they talked about, I know how to take the first steps to get into it.
Yeah, especially if they're dealing with the same type of thing, and they're like, oh, this could be my avenue to get into some type of outdoor activity. And
something unique that you do that I got into when I got here is surf fishing, a little bit of saltwater fishing. I feel like you'd be a good guy to talk about how you got into it and how other people get into it and what you like about it so much.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll start out, if you want to give yourself a more, formal introduction.
Well, my name's Martin. I have a YouTube channel called Mansera Outdoors. I kind of focus mainly on fishing, but over the last few years, I've dabbled into the hunting. I've been introduced into fishing as a young age, like most people, through family or friends.
Yeah,
or whatever.
That's my question I was going to ask.
I got my uncles that used to wake me up 4 a.m. to go to the lake and out here in Lopez, or we'd go out to Port St. Louis Pier, catch some mackerel off the pier. Oh, nice. But yeah, it was my uncles that introduced me into fishing, and then he joined the Marines, and so once he got his orders, that he was kind of the person that would take me and my other uncles out fishing and stuff, and then his younger brother went with him, and so I was like, oh dang. So what am I gonna do now? And then just went to school, went to work, and that was pretty much it. I think I got back into fishing back in 2000, and was it 12, 13? Might have been 13 or whatever. I guess it ties into the mental health stuff, because in that timeline it was kind of like a really downhill with a lot of events that happened, like family loss, and then kind of family separation, and Then I had my dad have a heart attack, and then it was just kind of boom, 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 boom.
A lot of stuff in you at once. Huh?
Yeah, dude, it was something. And so I kind of went, I think, a couple years kind of, I guess you'd say, sheltered. And I wouldn't go hang out with anybody or whatever, or family member. I wouldn't really, I was kind of indoors.
Yeah.
Kind of just kept to myself. It's kind of that, you know, you don't want to be vulnerable to other people. So, but, you know, I had a friend reach out and was like, hey, you know, how's it going? And she was kind of like my best friend in high school. And she's like, I haven't heard from you in a while. You know, what are you doing? Because, you know, we all, you know, after high school, everybody kind of goes their own way, finds their own path. And, you know, she's like, hey, you know, I'm living back in town. Let's go do something. And I was kind of like, okay. Kind of just giving the short answers or whatever. And she's like, something wrong? I'm like, nah. Just kind of blowing it off.
You don't want to talk about it.
She, you know, picked it up and was like, hey, let's go get something to eat or go hang out or whatever. And I was like, all right, cool. She's like, come pick me up. So I went and picked her up, and she's like, where do you want to go? I was like, you're the one that wanted to go. And so she's like, let's just drive and I don't know, go from there. And so, you know, hit the freeway, you know, started talking or whatever. And she's like, hey, what's going on? And I really didn't want to, you know, obviously open up, because I'm just like, I like to keep stuff to myself. But, you know, it got to the point where she was like demanding, tell me what's going on and so on. And so she's like, what, you want to just go sit somewhere? I'm like, sure. She's like, where do you want to go? And it's kind of like, okay. She's like, where do you like to be? I was like, the ocean. And it's like, all right, let's go to the pier.
Yeah.
And, you know, that, you know, at some point during the whole conversation opened up, and she's like, what makes you feel alive? And I was like, the beach, the smell of the beach, the sounds of the beach, really just the sounds of outdoors. And she's like, well, what did you used to do that, you know, you don't do anymore? And I was like, well, I used to go fishing with my uncles, and then he took off to the Marines, and I didn't have like a friend group that was in outdoors, except for, you know, like I had a lot of friends that were in football, but they weren't like the outdoorsy kind of people.
Sure.
And so I never had like that friend that was like, hey, let's go fishing or let's go hiking or whatever. And she's like, how about you, on your next day off, go fishing or whatever. And I was like, okay, cool. And, you know, if it wasn't for her, I don't know if I would ever got back into fishing or whatever, if it wasn't for that conversation that we had.
Sure. I was actually leading up to, I don't know who she is, but shout out to you if you end up listening to this. That is absolutely incredible that, not just that she got you back into fishing, but I admire her persistence. Like, she knew there was something. And we wall up. We don't want other people to know what we're going on. We're, you know, and I don't know. Just shout out to her for being persistent and getting you to open up. And whether you ended up telling her everything or not, at least you had the conversation. It got you to somewhere in a situation where you ended up in a better place because of it. So shout out to you. That was awesome.
Yeah, and I was like, I grew up like kind of like deal with it in a way, just man up and deal with it, you know, no matter how hard it is,
as do most of us,
you'll figure it out.
And
so that's how I was raised, is just, you'll figure it out. And so, you know, I started getting into you know, fishing again, but, you know, I didn't really dabble too much when my uncles would take me out. Surf fishing was more the lake, the pier. And then, you know, I was like, oh, let me go check out the surf fishing stuff. So I went to Walmart, and, you know, they don't have the best selection of surf fishing gear there. And so I went and picked up like a 7-foot ugly stick, and, you know, kind of looked online, kind of what do you use for surf fishing? And it was the Carolina rig with some sandworms. And so I went and did that, and I wasn't having much luck, and I was either skunking or catching like fish that were like this big. And so I went like online, went on YouTube, surf fishing, California, Central Coast or whatever. And my buddy Edward, Hook to Cook, what the first video that came up of his that I watched was catching monster surf perch. And I was like, what are they doing that I'm not doing? And it was throwing those plugs, those lures. And so I think I found him on Facebook. He just, like, it just so happened to, I don't know if you ever had this where you're like let me see, you just happen to fall on somebody where they just come up and you're suggested.
Yeah, they suggested friends. Yeah.
And so he popped up, and so I was like, hey bro, how are you catching all these big surf perch? Yeah. And then he, I didn't expect him to reply back quick,
right,
or even at all.
But was he already big at that point?
I think at that time he might have had like a couple to 3,000 subscribers at that time, and I think I had already started a channel, but I think I was 10 subscribers or whatever. But so I was like, he has a bunch of subscribers. I was like, what are the odds of him gonna reply back? And he replied back pretty quick, and he's like, hey bro, what's up? And I was like, hey, how are you catching all these surf perch, these big ones? Because I'm either not catching at all or catching a bunch of dinks. And then he's like, you know what? Hey, are you free on New Year's Day? And I was like, yeah, I'm free on New Year's Day. And so, we connected, and it was me, him, his fiance, and our buddy Bob. And so we went and met up, and he's like, yeah, man, I use these lures, to catch these surf perch. And I was like, what's the technique? And all the surf fishing stuff that I've learned have come from him, or our buddy Leroy, and Monica. But I've taken a lot of, I picked his brain on surf fishing, and so once I started picking up those habits, started landing those big fish, and I was like, oh man, this is something. And it's like a totally different feeling from when you catch like some dinks on a Carolina rig to catching like 13, 14 inch perch on a lure. It just feels totally different. And so that's how our friendship developed. And it was definitely a fishing experience just for picking at his brain and kind of picking him up, because he's surf fished like for his whole life with his dad. And so it was pretty cool to not only pick his brain, but the techniques that his dad uses, and just kind of use that in the surf, and kind of have my own success. And it's kind of like, wow, I just needed that person to show me the techniques and everything.
That's one of the most invaluable things I've found, and what I recommend to people who want to get started is try to find somebody who's into it. Because I've told a couple buddies this, and I'm gonna kind of change lanes into elk hunting, and the big circus that is. And I'm like, I've been twice now. I've watched all the stuff on YouTube that I can watch, and it's like I still can't put it together. There's not, I'm at the point where I want to do a tag along, like you did with Ed going fishing. I want to see what it is that somebody that's successful is doing that I'm not doing. It's not that I want to take it from them. I want to learn. You know what I mean? And then you're talking about the feeling of catching these dinks or skunking versus catching these massive perch. It's like, for me, it's what was so rewarding when I got to that point is like, it's not just catching the fish. It's I learned exactly what it takes to catch this fish in this situation. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like the knowledge that comes with it.
Yeah.
But no, I'm still stuck on like how you went from, keeping yourself in your house and that one friend having that conversation has got you into like so far into to where you're at now. Especially in the surf fishing, because didn't you win a surf fishing competition
last year? Yeah. It was a good 4 years maybe into surf fishing that tournament, and it was like, or maybe 5 years, and it was like, I think because me and Ed have done it from the time I think pretty much since they kind of started, and it was kind of like for fourth place, and then the last 3 years it was second place, and it's like, man, it's like, what do I gotta do to get that first? Because I get into this like obsessed with not only like, well, I'm a competitor, but like, how would you say this? Perfecting the craft too at the same time. And it's like, so I always get to the point where I'm like, what can I do better to reach my maximum potential? And this past year, because I think I did it myself, because prior it was me and him, and he didn't want to participate no more, and so I was like, I ain't gonna do it without you. I'm gonna do it for us though.
Okay. And
that was kind of an extra motivation to like, put down everything that I have, put in every mile, cast every inch of that beach. Yeah. And, I did not leave that beach unscathed. And, even if it didn't look good, I was casting into it. And I was like, fan, move over, fan, and I dissected that thing. Miles and miles. I could not tell you how many miles I put going back, forth, back, going way down there, coming back, and it was, it's a from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. tournament, and I think, started at 7 a.m., but my cutoff time would be at 3 p.m. just so we can do the uploads, because it was a virtual tournament. You got to record, all the qualifications that you need. By 7, because after 7, if you don't get it, if it doesn't upload in time, then
it's not accepted.
It's not accepted, and so, it was just an experience to not only like win last year, but being competitive and coming on, overcoming all the competitors, which I have been able to. Friend a lot of these competitors, and it's kind of one of those where you put faces to names, and you run into somebody on the beach and you're like, oh shoot, I remember I seen your post, you caught that striper the other day, and it's just one more way that I've been able to develop really good friendships.
Yeah, it's a community.
Yeah,
for sure. I love that about it.
Yeah.
Are you doing it this year? You can do it again, or are they not doing it?
I don't know, because originally. Because I talked to the guy that organizes it, and he originally said it was supposed to be, I think it was the 4th, this past weekend. And then I think I saw him put a video out when he was, out of town, was like, okay, I've been getting questions about it, now it's probably going to be this weekend. But usually they have like a little posting about it, I think at least a month after they do the striper tournament. But I haven't seen nothing. So either it's going to happen later, maybe November, December, or not at all. And so I don't know. But I don't know. It is what it is. I took time off to do that tournament, but it ended up being like I took the Monday through Wednesday off to have fun, fish with my friend Leroy, Edward, and a couple of our buddies. And then I think that last day, I went and fished by myself in the morning because everybody was busy. And then after I was done with that session, I was like, I'm fixed, because all of October for the past 3 years have been the best surf fishing days ever. And all my trips in October have been like catching 50 to 150 perch a day, but that's like spending from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m.
Right.
And then, not only catching all those perch, but like I've been able to bring home 5 to 7 stripers, 7 to 9 halibut, and I'm trying to like continue that October fest.
How's it been for you so far this October?
All right. Yeah, it's not as good as the last 3 years, but it's pretty good.
I'm doing, let's see, I usually generally fish probably only 2-4 hours max whenever I go down. And I'm probably doing about 40 perch, 30 to 40 in that 4 hours. Yeah. Which is
it takes
a beating. Good.
It takes a beating on you though.
Oh, it will. Like I'm getting I don't even know, it feels like a freaking I don't know, just a sore on my, because I like wrap my pinky underneath the the seat of my reel.
Okay.
Just how I retrieve. Freaking wearing my finger out.
Oh dang! What was it? I usually like when I cast, that little grip above the reel. I'll hold that and just kind of.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I try not to put any tension on the fingers down here
on my pinky, and
but it's just a habit, huh?
Been fishing a spinning reel like that for my entire life, but it's just like from the first time I ever held a spinning rod, that's how I gripped it.
Yeah,
I like that ever since.
Yeah,
but now I'm paying for it.
yeah. Well, man, I can't tell you like how much how exhausted I was after the tournament the last 3 years, because it's like you're fishing from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. You're
that
working.
Can get brutal. Too.
It can get brutal, yeah. And I've been tossed and turned. I've been lifted a couple times off, and where you can't feel the bottom. You're just like whoa. And I think that was a few years back. And after that, I was like, no more going chest deep. We're only going maybe thigh at max.
That's where I
try to stay at the knees. Try to stay at the knees. And it can get pretty brutal. And during those tournaments, not only like in my fishing all day, but when I catch that halibut or stripers bring home, all that weight's on my back, and I don't know. I don't really like setting my bag down, fish in a pocket, and then picking it up. I'm a cast, and I'm gonna go.
First year, I think I don't do that anymore. I just put the bag on and leave it. I don't take it off.
Yeah, and it was pretty funny because I think was it 2 years ago, I was fishing the tournament, and Leroy came out with us just to hang out. He didn't have a fishing rod at all, and he's like, "Man, you guys have fun. I'm just gonna hang out with you while you guys fish the tournament." And I think we're about maybe quarter mile, half mile down the beach. Hook up on a 27-inch halibut, and all the fish that I decide to keep, I either I'll split it between myself and then family members and friends. And I always have a bunch of family members or friends that like to eat fish or whatever. But it's one thing when you're buying it from the store, you don't know how long it's been there. Compared to something
can't be fresh like that.
No, it's like I know I caught the fish, I bled it out, I put it in that hook to cook perch pouch, and it's I know it's well taken care of. But when you have stuff at the store, you don't know how many times it's been frozen, how long it's been sitting on that shelf, and it makes me feel good that I'm giving my friends, my family, a well kept, clean fish that I caught myself.
Very rewarding.
And it's something to like be proud of in a way.
Absolutely.
But it was funny because we're down a quarter mile, half mile down the beach, hook up on a 27-inch halibut, and Leroy's like, all right, I'll go take it to the truck, put it in the ice chest. He comes back, and I have another halibut. I have a 29-incher for him. He's like, you know what? You go and go put your halibut in the cooler. And so I think at that day, on that day, I ended up catching 3 halibut. I think there was a 27, 29, and like a 30 or whatever. And then I think maybe a striped bass too. So it was like I got that three-peat, got the perch, got the halibut, got the striper, and I think I had like 2-3 days out of that whole 1 week of just like three-peat, and I was like, dude, this is insane. And it's like it's a beach that like not everybody has access to, and luckily myself and some friends we have access to because of Leroy and Monica help us get on that beach. But it's like the best surf fishing I've ever had, and it's like something that's closed off for half the year. So
that's very unfortunate.
Yeah, but I'm appreciative to them for giving us that opportunity.
For sure.
Yeah, because it's like
that's real good of them.
Yeah,
I also take advantage of that opportunity because not only is what you get to fish exclusive, but even what I get to fish is even more exclusive, and I appreciate it.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, it's crazy when you get on a bite like that, and then not only you're doing it, but your friends are doing it too, and all of you guys sitting in one pocket and just boom, boom, everybody's on tripled up, quadrupled up, and you're just like, what?
Did you meet Hunter? He was out there at the bow shoot that day. I think you.
I met. Where did I meet him for the first time? I think I met him prior to.
Oh, okay.
once, not too long before that shoot.
Well, I give a lot of credit to him because he's much more of a fisherman than I am. Like we're total kind of opposites, and like he's like a fisherman that likes to hunt, and I'm a hunter that likes to fish.
Yeah.
And like if it came down to it, and I could either hunt or fish for the rest of my life, one exclusively, I'm gonna hunt. And then he's the opposite. He would rather fish.
I'm the opposite.
And so I had talked not long after we got out here to California about the chance to catch a striper from the surf, and how I always thought it would be cool, but I never really pursued it. And last year he asked me so many times to go fishing, not even just for striper, but to go rock fishing and all that, and I'm like, nah, I'm good. I'm gonna go. And then finally one day he calls me like 9 o'clock one morning. He's like, oh, hang on, did we hit our max? Oh, we're about to. No, we're not. 25 minutes. I'm sorry. If you see that red light start flashing, I'm still talking. Let me know. But it was like 9 o'clock one morning. He calls me and he's like, hey, I'm coming by your house. I gotta show you something. I'm like,
oh.
Okay. And he pulls up and he's got two like 27, 28 inch striper, and then one halibut. I don't remember how long it was. I know it was over, because is it 20?
You have to be 22.
Yeah, I think it was 28. He knew, and he measured it and he kept it. And I was like, and he even asked me to go fishing the night before that. I was like, no, I don't want to go. And I saw it, and I'm like, when's the next high tide? Later this evening. I'm like, okay, I'll go.
Yeah.
And then we got down to the beach, and I as much, like I had said before, that I like to learn from other people, but I still like to do things on my own. So he told me like what he caught it on, what kind of what like part of the beach he caught it off of, but I was still very much like, okay, I'll use that crankbait, but I'm gonna take because he immediately, when we got down there, like he wanted to go to the hole where he caught the fish at earlier. I'm like, I'm gonna fish my way down the beach.
Yeah.
And I was catching a perch here and there. He got way down the beach. I saw him hooked up, and you could tell by the way somebody's fighting.
Yeah.
What they got on, and I'm like,
yeah,
he's got a striper.
Yeah.
And he took it off the hook, and he ran all the way down to the beach. And like halfway down, I was waving him off, like, I know what you have. And he came and showed me. I was like, yeah, I'll get down there when I get down there. And he was just kind of like, well, okay. But I'm like, no, I'll get down there when I get down there. So I keep fishing, just kind of fan casting and move a little bit. And then I seen him hook up on another one. I was like, oh my gosh, okay, I'll come down there. And I got down there when he was still fighting it. And he was like, cast straight out from the end of mine. And I did. And I pulled twice, and bam. And so I definitely owe it to him for getting me on striper. And then we just killed him last year.
Yeah.
We probably caught 30 between the two of us, if I had to guess. It was insane.
Yeah.
Absolutely insane.
That striper bite, that's something else. I remember a few years ago, for us to be on a striper bite, we'd gather 3-4 friends and drive all the way to Monterey just to get on a striper bite, because it was so rare for us to catch when fishing at Oceano, Soflaco, Guadalupe. You know, if someone caught a striper, it was like they were the superstar.
Yeah.
And then like I don't know exactly when, like we just started getting striper bites and stuff.
So there wasn't like a defined, like,
the only thing I could think of is like that time period, that COVID time period, where like commercial charter boats were going out and hooking up, where they just stopped, and maybe the migration brought them a lot more down than usual, or a lot more stripers came out of the river.
Interesting.
Yeah, I have no idea. That's the only thing I can think of, is that time period where charter boats weren't going out for stripers. And I don't know. That's the only thing. That's my hypothesis.
Seems valid. Seems valid.
It does, but regardless, we're getting on some hot bites, and it's not only just here, but it's like all down the coast too. Even down to Ventura and stuff. I've been seeing a lot more striper hookups. But yeah, it's nice that now we don't have to drive the 3 hours to get on a nice striper bite. Yeah, because it's like for the northern people in like Monterey, San Francisco, their striper bites like our perch bite, and our perch bites like San Diego's halibut bites, and we're fortunate to be in an area where we can be on a hot striper, perch, and halibut bite. Yeah, and it's pretty cool.
Pretty epic.
Yeah, it is pretty epic.
All right, camera timed out, but it was actually at a really good point because we were getting ready to segue into going from like you talked about your surf fishing history, I guess. So I was gonna get your thoughts on, like, for somebody new that's never surf fished before, what's your advice for them getting into it?
My number one suggestion would be going to your local tackle shop, seeing what's biting, seeing what lures, seeing any live bait, what's popping with what's the hot bite.
Yeah.
Second would be YouTube, of course. YouTube is a huge tool, especially if you're looking for something in your area. You just type in your area, let's say surf fishing, boom, there should be at least a few people that are putting content out there of kind of what they're doing, and it might help. You might see something that they're using and be like, oh, I've seen that at Walmart, or I've seen that in our tackle shop before. 3 would be Google Maps. I dissect Google Maps for any body of water, whether it's fresh water or salt.
Okay.
But like, if you're, what you're looking on Google Maps, if you see a hole in the surf on Google Maps, odds are it's not going to be the same once you get out there.
Okay,
it might be turned into a sandbar, or because the beach changes all the time.
So what are you exactly, I guess, evaluating when you're looking at a place on Google Maps? What stands out to you to, like, hey, that would make this a better place to fish? Or I guess, what are you looking for on Google Maps, if you can explain?
Distance from where you can park to get to the beach. Not everybody can walk miles, and so like, let's say you're bringing out your kids, or you're bringing out your dad, grandpa, or whatever. You always want to try to find the you don't want to be walking miles.
Make sure it's accessible. For who's going.
Yeah, but if you're by yourself and you're like, hey, I don't mind walking miles. Like, for example, Point Sal. Not a lot of people go out there and bring fishing gear, because it's like almost 5 miles to get down there, and then if you decide to bring fish back, it's 5 miles back with some extra weight on your back. And I've taken my brother out there surf fishing, and we went, and the bite was hitting Carolina rigs with some little grubs, and we packed out both 2-man limit, and not only did we do almost 5 miles there and back, but we did it there coming back with 20 fish, and each perch was probably about 12 and a half, maybe a few 13. So and each fish is like pound and a half, and so you just add that up, and I don't know, maybe we had like 35 pounds on our back going back, and
Goodness.
And I'd try to, I'm the older brother, so I'd take most of them, pack it out for the most of the part, but then he'd be like, hey, let me take that, and so we kind of share that weight on the way back. But yeah, I usually try not to, well, especially now that I'm, we're all getting older, you try to find the most easiest accessible beach possible. And there's a lot of places that you can literally just drive up to, and you can cast a line in there, but I would say there's a lot of places, a lot of good places that you kind of have to put in the miles to
it's
to get a good bite,
get away from pressure. It's like, again, I'm a hunter, I kind of equate the two, and it's like, you get away, it's the same with hunting, you get away from the pressure, you generally find better hunting or better fishing, because they're just not, they don't get beat in the head with lures all the time.
Yeah, and a big tool that we use now, that I've picked off from Ed, was using Fish Notify, and then was it Surf Forecast? I think I sent you the link to that, so because it gives you like the wave power, it gives you like the tides, it gives you the weather, and kind of everything that you need to kind of not have like a successful day, but like to not go out there blind and like get tossed around.
So that's one of the things I actually wanted to talk to you about is what makes, like, what kind of conditions are you looking at to like kind of be able to forecast this this is a better time to go? Like, what exactly are you looking at as far as tide, wave power? Does the time of day factor in? Like, what are you looking for when you look at that app?
Typically, for like a good surf fishing session, you want to fish the higher tide. You know, a couple hours before, a couple hours after. But you know, I've had some really good days on a low tide, so
Really?
with perch.
Really? Okay, yeah.
And you know, if you're trying to you know, target those halibut that might be a little out there, you know, you do want to fish that low tide.
That's what I've heard. Yeah.
But like you can catch fish all day if you're in the right spot, right time. I would say, if I were to put it, like if I had a chart in front of me, I would say for the most part it would be higher tide, like, you know, higher tides, mostly incoming, have been the best, and then an overcast day. You know, once for example, this past week, you know, once I started feeling warmth on my back, the sun started opening up, the bite started to die down. And I don't know if, you know, that was the reason, or maybe like I just needed to change colors. Like maybe I just needed to throw something more flashy, something less flashy. Maybe I just needed to throw a Carolina rig. But it's hard to, you know, you're not a fish. You're not a perch. You don't know what was in their mind. You don't know what they're wanting to bite at that time. But it's just getting out there and kind of experimenting, kind of what has been biting the best, and kind of sticking to that game plan, that game lure for the day. But yeah, it's tough because, you know, they could bite on anything, really.
Do you find that color variation in your lure matters too much when you with the surf perch and striper and stuff?
I would say at certain times, you know, I've gotten that question a few times when someone talks to me about like what gear I should be using. I usually lean over to Edward because he's more of the technical gear fisherman. When someone's like looking for you know, surf fishing rods or surf fishing reels, or you know, what's the best bait to use during this time, since he has spent like his whole life on the water, he's dissected the tides, the sandbars, like every single thing in the surf, like the wave powers and everything. Whenever I get that question, I lean them to Edward, because he dissects it really well. He's more in depth of explaining you know, what to look for, really, because I'm the kind of mess around guy.
Yeah, I get that.
And so yeah, when someone asks me some technical questions about the surf, I lean the information to him. Yeah, because he can school you on the surf.
His experience is incredible.
And I'm just like, hey, just throw it right there.
So, what? You don't have to get technical about it, but what do you use as far as gear, rods, and stuff? Just like, or even throw some entry level stuff out there for somebody that might be listening that's never done it before. If you could give them a good starting setup, what would you kind of recommend? Or do you have any recommendation?
Yeah, when it comes to gear, like I said, I lean over to him, but I would say kind of what most of us what we started is using like you know, if you're on a budget. Like Akuma cellulose, I think is what it's called. Okay. They're on the cheaper $60 9-foot rods or whatever. Yeah. But like if you want to step up above that, what we use right now is Akuma Hawaiian Customs.
I love mine. Love it.
And it's something. It's a special rod. You know, it not only gives you like the capability of like whipping it out there, but it has like the backbone to, like, if you catch like a big striper or whatever, to keep tension on that thing.
It also has the range where you can fish as light as a 1/4 ounce or up to 2 ounces too. And it can handle it.
Yeah, and so that's what I use right now, which is the Kuma Hawaiian Custom, and then I have the Quantum Benchmark, which is like a fully sealed reel, because like I think I've told you before we even started this, I've gone through so many cheap reels that that aren't meant for the salt water. That's, you know, the little bit of salt gets in there, it gets corroded, and then you spend 40, 50, sometimes even 60, 70 bucks on a non-sealed reel.
And you're probably doing what, one a year, you think?
Yeah, hopefully. if you take care of it, like rinse it off when you get home. Or what I try to do now is get those like those little tanks that you pump and spray off once you're done, so you get all that salt water as much as you can. But when I don't, I just go home and then rinse it off as good as I can. I loosen the drag to where you rinse that off, and with the loose drag, it kind of airs out the whole reel. But it's nice to have, to pay for, those a little expensive sealed reels, but it's going to last you a long time.
For sure.
My first sealed reel that I got was the Quantum Reliance, and that thing, I've had that for almost 5 years, and it's still going.
Wow.
Yeah, there's something about those sealed reels.
I don't know how much that one is, but I imagine the price that you paid for that reel, and this lasted you 5 years.
Yeah.
You had to just stuck with the $40, $50 unsealed reel and bought one every single year. You probably paid more to replace your reel every year.
Yeah.
Than buy once, cry once. You know what I mean?
Yeah, buy once, cry once, and that's what I try. I tell myself, and when someone's asking me, opinions on rods and stuff, or even guns and stuff, like buy once, cry once. You don't want to spend something on a cheap, like for hunting, like a cheap shotgun or whatever that you're going to want to upgrade in the future. But like for my Quantum Reliance reel, that I don't use it as much more because I'm kind of in love with that benchmark.
Gotcha.
That probably runs you about like 119-ish, and I think that rod might be like 120 or whatever. So that combo is probably like a little over $200. Yeah, maybe.
But it's gonna last too.
Yeah, it's gonna last.
I've been fishing the same Hawaiian Custom, and I use the Shimano Nasi. I've been fishing that rod and reel since it's been 4 years now.
Yeah,
and it's pretty solid.
Yeah, and this hobby, whatever you want to call it, it's if you feel like you're gonna like invest in it because it's something you're wanting to do for a really long time, you want to pay. You want to kind of buy that top gear.
Get it up front. Yeah.
Yeah, and
it's an investment.
Yeah,
that's what I tell my wife.
Yeah, I got tired of freaking buying a $50 reel, $60 rod, and then having to buy another one. A lot of times it's been less than a year, just because
that's crazy.
Even with rinsing it off, just the reel just corrodes, and you're just like, gosh dang it.
Yeah.
I've had I think it was my first, or it might have been my second rod that I bought for surf fishing, because I wanted to get something a little beefier. When I first started getting into it, I went and went to Walmart, got one of those little big old thick things that I feel like I can sling a heavy thing just to get out there.
Yeah.
And so I think after work, I got out to the beach right before they closed the parking lot, because I wanted to get 20 minutes in. And first cast, I used a weight that was a little higher than what the rod can hold, and snap. I was one cast in, one cast out. So I was like, man. And then after that point, I was like, you know what, maybe I should spend the money to have the gear and kind of make sure that I'm using the proper bait for the proper rod and the line, and kind of using all that and without having a rod broken from a cast, or a reel corroding in 10 trips or whatever it may be.
Have you, I'm assuming you ever fished with a Phoenix, the cicada?
No, I wanted to, but I think at the time I was like, I don't know if that's in my budget.
unless you have the money to go buy it right after you fish with it, don't fish with them.
Yeah, why? What happened?
They're nice.
Yeah,
they're just so nice. My Hunter, that's what Hunter had, and if it was something I did every single day, I might go for one. They're lighter, and they feel, I think, a little bit better balanced. And I don't know, just retrieving with it just feels a little bit, I want to say a lot smoother. And that's not take away anything from the Hawaiian Custom, because again, I've been fishing with it for 4 years, and I'm not going to get anything different, but it's a sweet rod. Very nice. But it is about 3 times the price, I think.
Yeah. Phoenix rods can get pretty expensive. And I think that's the reason why I haven't bought a Phoenix rod. And I was like, this Hawaiian Custom is pretty darn good for its price.
I remember he broke, I forget if he broke 3 or 4 surf rods while he was here. Don't know how, but he managed to do it. And I want to say, I could be wrong, he might listen to this and correct me. I want to say at least one of them was a cicada. And it's like, yes, I think their customer service is good and you can get it fixed and everything, but if you're on a heck of a striper bike tonight and you want to get on one tomorrow, you don't want to wait on your... So he went and bought another one.
Dang. Okay. Yeah. I think the ones that I've heard that a lot of people use is that Trifecta Light.
I've heard of that one.
Yeah.
Is that a Phoenix?
I think so.
Okay.
And I don't think I've used it. If I have, it was kind of like Ed was like, "Hey, try this rod out." But
I hope it was a cicada he used, because now I'm gonna sound like an idiot if that wasn't the one. But I'm pretty sure it was a Phoenix cicada. But anyway, it is a nice rod.
Yeah. But those Akumas, it's hard to beat those for the price.
I like nice gear, but I also recognize a value, and that's a heck of a value.
Yeah.
It's a great rod for a great price.
Yeah. And then they got some new colors in them too. They got that.
I was in there 2 Sundays ago after church, and I was telling my wife, I'm like, they have pink ones, and she's like, you want to go look at them? I'm like, no, because I'll buy one if I.
Yeah,
they're so nice.
Those pink ones look really nice. Yeah, those pink ones, and then even the lighter blue. I have the original blue.
That's what I have.
But the newer blues look pretty cool too.
They do look good. I don't like it as much the original blue though.
Why? Is it just because it looks more baby blue?
Maybe. I don't know maybe it's because that's how much I love my rod.
Yeah. The one thing I like about the newer ones and is the how it has the Hawaiian Islands on it.
I didn't even notice that.
No. The originals I think don't have it. The newer ones do.
Interesting.
Yeah.
If I was gonna get another one though, because I have 2.
Yeah.
I would definitely get a pink one though. If I was gonna get another one.
Yeah. I don't know. Look at your Hawaiian Custom and see if it has the Hawaiian Islands. It's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool aspect that it has on those rods.
All right. I love fishing, but I love hunting more. So I'm gonna change the subject.
Okay.
Because I know we don't have to get as into it as we did with fishing. But I still would like to recap your hunting season and see how it went for you this year.
This year is definitely a more eventful one than last year.
Okay.
This is my 2nd year archery hunting. I picked up the bow last year back, 1 month before the season started last year. And then
what got you into it?
Well, I've always been obsessed with archery. I don't know. It took one of my coworkers in Lompoc to push me. He was like, "Hey, bro, get a bow. Come on, get a bow." And I didn't have a slug gun. The gun that I would use for a slug was my buddy's, and I think I've maybe taken 1 shot and missed or whatever. But and it's funny because Leroy and Monica, they tell me that I'm not a good shot with a gun, but I'm a good shot with a bow. But I like that criticism, because it's like. I like when someone tells me that I'm not. It just pushes me more to try to get better.
At it. Yeah.
But they're like, yeah, to be honest, you're not good with the gun, but you're good with a bow. And but yeah, I picked up the bow 1 month before. Like I said, 1 month before archery season started last year, and then a couple weeks before the season ended, I got my first buck. So within 2 months,
you got your first buck your first season?
Yeah.
You dog.
Yeah, but I've always been obsessed with archery. Like as a kid, I grew up for my early years in Napomo, and our backyard was the Napomo Creek. And so me and my cousins, my uncles, we'd go in the creek and we'd go start bending, tree branches, and then we'd cut them off. And then we'd either ask, like my grandma was like, she knitted and stuff, so we'd either ask for some yarn or steal some yarn. And so we'd use that for the string. And then we'd go find some branches that were pretty straight, sharpen the ends, and pick up some chicken feathers and use those for our fletchings. And then really cool. We'd just be like, thump, 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 just launching them either at each other or down the creek. But I've always been a kind of outdoorsy, love the brush, love the beach and all that stuff. Yeah. But I've always been obsessed with archery. Just never kind of had that motivation to step into the archery world until my buddy was like, hey, come on, bro, get a bow. You'll. And kind of what motivated me is not only do you get like an extra, I guess, month.
Yeah, you get a longer season.
Yeah, and to be able to get into those archery zones that, you know, shotgun rifles can't get into.
Yep.
And so I went to Central Coast Archery that we have, and I walked into the store and was like, hey, I don't know what I'm looking for in a bow or whatnot, but I know I have like that obsessive personality where like when I know I am going to get into it, I get deep into it.
Oh, yeah.
And so I was like, I know I want to get into archery hunting. I don't know what to look for. And then I think Joel in the Central Coast Archery was the one that helped me. He's
Those
like,
I don't know how much time you spent up there. Those are great guys.
Yeah. And so he's like, yeah, man, I got you. He goes, well, what are you looking for? What is your price point? I was like, dude, I don't know. All I know is I want to buy once, cry once. And so he hooked me with the Hoyt Alpha X, and you know, get some shots, and I was like, dude, this feels nice. And I got addicted real quick, and I was like, I know I'm gonna be deep in this for a long time. And so, you know, picked up my bow, and, you know, with my work schedule, it's hard because I work for the Postal Service, and, you know, my days aren't technically guaranteed.
Right.
So I'd get out at least once a week, try to get out at least twice a week and shoot for an hour or two until my arm starts to feel like it's done. But, you know, I'd practice as much as I can until archery season started. You know, I wouldn't move on. I'd start, you know, with the 20s. And I'd give myself 4 arrows if I can make it in like a, let's say, the baseball size. I wouldn't move on to the 30, and I wouldn't go on to the next one until 40 until I got at least three of those arrows in the 30, and then the 40, and then the 50, and then the 60, and then I pretty much got pretty confident. For sure, at 50, 60, I was you know, sketchy, and you know, within that first month or whatever. But I got really obsessed with it and just kept practicing, and then the season started, leading to my first buck. I think that if you were to ask me what is my most like, how would you say this, my top moment hunting, it would be my first buck. Well, I'm only 2 years in, but
some people can get discouraged if it doesn't happen quick, which is unfortunate. But but now you're hooked.
Yeah, and I know it's about putting in your time and stuff, but I'm grateful that it happened that fast.
Sure. Yeah.
And then going into this season, I spent as much time this single season than probably the last 2, maybe 3 seasons combined. And so I was out in the field a lot more. I was glassing a lot more. I was exploring zones that I haven't been in before, and in a zone that I have been in before, but exploring a different part of that zone that I haven't been in yet.
Yep.
And believe it or not, like I let a roulette wheel decide my fate for 70% of my hunts. So for example, I have a hard time deciding on where to go, because, you know, you could be like, hey bro, I saw one in this zone, if you want to go get it, but you know that they might not be there that time. You know, deer, they move,
especially these ones. Like I've hunted whitetail and mule deer both at this point, and these deer, I just have not been able to pattern them. Like, I can sometimes generalize them to, I don't know, a location, but to be able to pattern them like you can a whitetail to a specific location, good luck. Yeah,
and so I have a hard time, like, do I want to hunt this zone today? Do I want to hunt that zone? And so I decided to throw up some archery zones, and it landed on the zone that I hunted last year. But there's like this archery zone is like kind of split into 2 different zones, or in between another zone. And so I put either the zone that I've seen, the zone that I've seen in like 2 bucks prior in the week, or go to the OG zone, part of it. And so when I spun it, it said to go to the OG zone, and in the back of my head I'm like, okay, hopefully the bucks that I've seen are not there, and hopefully I can come across something over here. And but I always go into everything optimistic, whether it's hunting, fishing, or whatever. So I was like, okay, we're getting down to like it's the last week. And so I was driving to the part of the zone that I was originally going to walk into, where I pretty much got exactly where my deer last year.
Okay.
But on the way, there's like this area that I've always wanted to explore, and I was like, and I saw, I think, a spike back there maybe a week and a half prior. And so I was like, oh, maybe I just go check back there. And so I pulled over and started walking like into the wind, and I heard like some cracks, and I was like, huh. And so I kind of backed out, went all the way behind these trees where I saw the spike, and I was just trying to stay downwind of everything.
Yeah.
And so I get behind the trees, and I didn't see anything. And so I started walking up this hill, because I was like, I wonder what's over that hill. And as I'm coming up the hill, I get to the top to where like my head, like here's the top of the hill, and then here's my head. And you know the sound of like when you release like the thump?
Yep.
I heard that, and then I heard 60 yards to my right, and then I heard the arrow go through some tree branches into the leaves, and since there was like a bunch of tall trees, with the leaves falling, I heard the crash of the arrow just, and I was like, ooh. And I don't know, I like 100% I know what the sound of a release of an arrow is. And so I stood there for a couple minutes, and I was like, I wonder if there's like someone was over there. And I stood there for a couple minutes, seeing if like an animal went some direction, maybe toward me. And then I didn't hear nothing, and I was like, okay. And in the archery zones, you don't have to wear orange. Yeah. I always wear an orange hat though. And so I took my hat off, and as I was like, maybe I should just see if where this person's at, just to let them know, like, hey, I'm right here. Yep. And so I walked up the hill, and I didn't go all the way to the top, but I like kind of put my hat up, and I was like, anybody there? But I wasn't like yelling at like, is anybody there or whatever. But I knew for a fact someone was down there for sure. But I didn't go too high up to see on the bottom, in the bottom area. And so I was like, let me just go back, turn around. And so I didn't want to put my life at jeopardy, just in case they, maybe even they thought that I was an animal coming or whatever. And so I was like, let me just turn around, go back to my truck, and go to where I got mine last year. And as I'm walking back to the truck, I see in the corner of my eye, I'm probably 80 yards from my truck, walking through some trees, and I see this big body just going like zigzagging with his head down. Yeah. And I was like, oh, that might be a buck. He's by himself. And he turns his head and goes, whoa. And I was like, ooh, that's my shot. And there's one pine tree that's maybe a foot taller than I am, maybe a little less. And it was like a skinny one too. And I was like, that's my only cover. So I like stood, like I shuffled right behind it. And he walked perfectly to me, zigzagging, stopped kind of 20 yards in front of the pine tree, and I pulled my arrow back, and he's walking, perfectly broadside, just like last time. I stuck my and I couldn't get an exact range, because I was like hitting the branches, hitting the little pine needles or whatever, so it'd be like, it'd give me so many different ones, but there was like one small space where it gave me like kind of like that 25-ish yard range, and I was like, okay. So from that, and then my guesstimation, football field, 20 yards. And once he stopped, I let one go, hit him right in like kind of the shoulder area, and he like dropped. Really? Yeah. And it was funny because that morning I had 0 broadheads. So earlier in the week, I took a couple shots at a buck, missed both of them, guesstimated slightly too high. Okay. And luckily didn't hit him, but he, the one that I did shoot, had like a doe with him, and he was moving a lot, and so with her and him, kind of, they're both opposite, looking at each other. It was hard to like get a good like spot to shoot. So, but luckily I shot over his back twice, and have another opportunity to shoot. But those are my last 2 broadheads. And so I'm all dang, and I had ordered some, and they weren't going to come until, what's today, the 8th? Like, I think it said 2 days ago, but they're not coming until the 17th of this month.
Okay.
And so I was like, dang it, where can I get some broadheads? I went, and in the morning, I went and jammed to Big Five.
Yeah.
And the broadheads that I've used in the past were like Rage, the hypodermic. two blade ones. And I wasn't going to get them until after season. And so when I went to Big Five, all they had was the fixed blades, and they're $17 fixed blades. And I was like, okay, the quality of these things are probably not going to be good, but I was like, if I go out there and I find something, this is probably my best chance to get it. And then from there, I went and helped a friend try to find a deer for 5 hours, and unfortunately we weren't able to find it.
Yep.
And then but so I was using $17 broadheads when I shot this thing, and so it dropped, and it was trying to get up, and I'm pretty sure I hit its like dominant like getting up arm, because it tried and it couldn't. It kept slipping, and it like spun in a circle. And in my head, I'm like, okay, what should I do here? I want to, put it out as soon as possible. I don't want this animal to suffer. So in my head, I'm like, okay, my truck's over there. It almost got up twice. And I was like, my truck's about 80 yards. If I go over there, grab my knife, because the knife that I had on me was probably like this big. I don't know if I was going to be able to get to the heart with it. And so I was like, either go to my truck, 80 yards, come back, hopefully he doesn't get up and take off, or call someone for some help and I'll hold them down. And so I'm like, what would the ethical thing to do? And so I called a couple friends. One just got off work, but he lives in Orchid, and so I'm like, there's gonna be some time for him to come out.
Right.
And then I called my friend that I was helping for 5 hours trying to find her deer in the morning, and I called my buddy first, or my the one I was helping out in the morning second, because I didn't know if she was going to be in a zone that had no service. So I called my buddy from Orchid first. I was like, hey, I got one. I'm going to need some help. And then I called her. I was like, hey, I got one. I don't know what you're doing, but I need some help. And so after I got off the phone, I creeped up. Like when since it was spinning, I waited till its back was to me. And so I slowly creeped up and pounced on his back and held his horns down. And it was
that's wild,
an intense thing. And he had a lot of energy, dude. During that time, it got to the point where I was like trying to adjust my hand, because my hand slipped off his horns for a little bit. And when I went to adjust my hand, he goes, what? And he got me pretty good. It was a little bigger.
No kidding.
It was a little bigger than this, and it went pretty deep. And so it just fully healed about what?
That's gnarly.
A few days ago.
That's gnarly.
Yeah, because it was still an open wound last week, and so he wanted cut for cut. And so my friends showed up, and they while I was holding him down, they got him in the heart and put him out pretty quickly. And so appreciative that they were able to come out and help, because if I were I didn't want him to get up and take off. I'm pretty sure he probably wouldn't have, but I didn't want to I didn't want to give him the chance. And then with how much strength he had, I don't know if I could have got him myself, because he was thrashing pretty good until my friends came, and then he kind of settled down a little bit. But for the most part, I was using maybe 90% strength on him, because he was still kicking. And that's
crazy.
I think I shot a little 6 inches forward than where I wanted to.
Okay.
But he dropped, and I didn't have to go looking for him. And then I called for help, and luckily I have friends that came out and helped me out.
I'm trying to think if I would have done anything different in that situation.
I was just trying to think of the most ethical thing, because I didn't want him.
Yeah.
I didn't want to have to go looking for him I'm sure I would have found him.
Sure.
But I didn't want to give him.
He's in your hand right there. The quickest thing to do is hang on to him. Did you ever think about, this is going to sound brutal for you guys listening, but this is something that happens.
Yeah.
Did you ever think about just cutting the throat instead? Yeah, I've done that before. It sounds awful. Pretty quick.
Yeah. I did think about that with the knife. With the knife that it's like a little skinny knife. I don't know. I didn't know if that knife was gonna be able to do it. It probably would have, but like with how much force I had to put down on him with 2 hands, with doing it with
borderline. Not even borderline. That would have been dangerous.
Doing it with one hand.
Because imagine him thrashing his head around.
Yeah, and he already got me. He already got me.
And now you got a knife in this hand, and you're that.
Yeah, because if you would have, and I would have gotten in the face, that would have been something too. Or if he went, I slipped, my knife goes in me. I don't know.
What a story.
Though. Yeah, it was
crazy.
It was pretty intense, but I want to say I made the best decision that day.
Yeah.
Of calling some help. For
sure.
Yeah, and luckily I'm grateful to have some friends that would help, because that would have been a really sticky situation if I didn't have no help. I'm sure I would have figured it out, but it was a little
you can't
sketchy.
be good friends like that. I owe a lot to a couple of my buddies from my season this year too. Yeah. But still though, two archery bucks in 2 years, it's impressive.
Yeah.
The first 2 years, that's...
Yeah, and then that one was on some $17 fixed, and after... I was wondering like how the arrow kind of
dissect it.
It blew up. The arrow blew up. The arrow blew up.
No way.
I don't know where the fixed broadhead blew up.
Well,
but it did the job.
No brand bashing, but don't use those again.
Yeah. And so I got some that are coming in for next year's, or even for a pig hunt or whatever. Mm-hmm. Never going to Big Five and never getting those $17 ones. Mm-hmm.
Have you seen the Sever hybrids? Mm-mm. Oh man, I'm into.
I'm still diving into the archery, everything.
Dude, you can go way into the rabbit hole. Yeah, I love it though. Yeah. Do you build your own arrows yet?
No.
Is that something?
It's something I want to do, but I feel like it's something I kind of don't have time to do.
It is. It can be.
Yeah.
I get it. Yeah. But no, I was like, I've shot wasp broadheads for a long time. And I've been a fixed blade guy for pretty much my whole bow hunting life. And my mindset for a long time was, with mechanicals, you have moving parts and stuff that can fail. And so a lot of times if something can fail, it will fail when you need it to work the most. Yeah. And I just didn't like the idea of moving parts in broadhead. And so I shot the Wasp drones, great broadheads, but as with most fixed blades, blood trails aren't always great. And so then I went to the Wasp jackknife, which is a 2-inch 2-blade expandable. Good expandables, they fly good, I like them, but they're actually kind of loud. And I like a quiet arrow. And so this year I was like, I think I'm going to try something different. And they're also front deploying, so they fold forward and then fold back when they hit something, whereas kind of the efficient type or the rear deploying slide back. So this year, beast broadheads have been the craze.
Is that one that like even if it goes through like ribs, it kind of bends and then
it'll close, but it'll like flex almost. Like it kind of comes closed but then opens back up. Yeah.
Okay, I've seen those around.
Yeah, people have been raving about them, and I was very, very close to getting them. And for me, it was. I was kind of, my mind was made up I was going to get beast. I didn't know that Sever had a hybrid option. Okay. And literally the day I was going to go buy broadheads, I saw something come across Facebook or something. Or no, maybe it was actually, you watch Lusk Outdoor Adventures he's a guy that tests all the broadheads on YouTube. No. You want to learn about broadheads, look up Lusk on YouTube. He reviews everything. Okay. Anyways, I think it was through him I might have seen it. I was like, Sever has a hybrid? I watched a few videos, and I was like, I get the cut of the expandable, and then I have the guarantee of that bleeder blade on front. Yeah. I'm like, I'll give that a shot, for sure. And I got him. Dude, I had to message him after I shot my deer, and I was like, I couldn't imagine having this much confidence in my broadhead before now, because they fly amazing, they're quiet, and the devastation to that deer was insane. Now, part of it I will attribute to, I think I did a really good job of my arrow builds, and I think they're very efficient, and they're not light, but they're not heavy. So, but where I have them weight wise, I think I can attribute some of the just the power behind it.
Okay.
Like they're pretty hard hitting.
Yeah.
But just the hole and it put in that deer, man, and the blood trail, I was like, this is incredible.
Yeah.
Unless I have some catastrophic failure, I'm like, I can't imagine shooting anything else right now.
Okay.
They're awesome. I want to show you one because you're talking about the ones you have looking pretty gnarly. These ones are just, I don't know, man. I love them. I might edit this part out, but so they have 3/4 inch bleeders on front.
Okay.
And then they are held in by an O-ring, which some people don't like. And usually I can roll it right off of here. I don't know if it's stupid.
Yeah, my only experience with broadheads have been the Rage hypodermic 2-blade, and then the $17 Big 5 explodable.
Explodable. That's good. I'll figure that out later. But anyways, so it goes in, and when they expand out, they lock so they can't close.
Okay.
But then they pivot. They'll pivot around bone.
Got it.
And it's, I forget, I think, so this is the 1.75 hybrid, and I think all encompassing is like 2 1/4 inches worth of cut.
Okay.
And dude, it just put a freaking hole in that deer. Like my buddies that came to help, they looked at it and like, you sure you shot this with your bow? I'm like, of course. Like he was just joking. He knew, but
yeah.
like I could definitely look at it and not have known and been like, yeah, somebody definitely shot this with a slug. It was just brutal. But yeah, I love these things. So that's my broadhead of choice for quite a while, probably.
Yeah, I'm still dabbling in the stuff, especially with the arrows too. Because last year I used the Easton Axis arrows.
Those are good arrows.
This year I dabbled in with the what is it? The Ultra. Ultra. Yeah, those ones.
I've heard I've heard good things about them.
Yeah, I think it might have been the premieres that they have, but the flight of it I like with the ultras or whatever better, because even my buddy that you know, we're kind of a partner duo. You know, when we go hunting or whatever, we're always together. With the axes, it's more of like a rainbow, an arc. But with these ultras, it's like more of a straight.
So I'm assuming they're lighter then?
I think so.
The Axis are, I mean, it's the reason that we're in the craze.
For sure, they're like smaller in diameter.
Yeah. What, the Axis are versus the Ultras?
The Ultras are smaller. They're thinner. They're thinner.
Okay. Oh, now I'm curious, like,
I wish I had them in my truck just so I can show you the comparison.
I'm not like a genius, but I know a decent amount about all the different arrows and stuff.
Yeah, I'm still dabbling. So.
But I was gonna say, I would assume, like, it's the reason we're in the craze this year with, if you've heard about the Victory HLRs, and then the Easton came out with the 5.0. So they basically are still the 5mm platform that most bow hunters like.
Okay.
But they're built lighter, so that people have more options with, because FOC is a pretty big craze. You know about FOC yet? Front of center, like building your arrow heavier in the front and stuff.
No.
Well, they basically, if you wanted to go build a high FOC arrow, you were getting into the high 500 to 600 grains, like pretty heavy arrow. So what they've done this year is they went to a kind of same build, but a lighter arrow, so that you can build your FOC arrow, build your high FOC, but still come in like around the sub 500 to 550 range. It just gives you more customization almost.
Yeah.
But I don't know how I got off on that tangent, but that's me saying that I would assume the Ultras are lighter.
Yeah.
Than the Axis.
I like the flight of the Ultras better than the Easton. And I was trying to, and I didn't have to like change any adjustments on my bow, like the tension or anything. I was pretty much hitting both of them exactly as if they're the same arrow. It was just the difference between the arc or the straight.
Okay, that's
I'm like I said, I'm not too into the arrows, but I didn't have to change nothing between two arrows. And I think my ultras were a little bit longer. So I don't know.
Interesting.
All I know is that I didn't have to change no adjustment on my bow to shoot both arrows. Yeah, which is, I don't know, nice for me.
It is.
Yeah.
Well, I won't take up any more of your time, but I appreciate you sitting down and talking with me. This has been awesome.
Yeah, I'm always open to chat, and it was pretty fun, and it was awesome that we were able to get this like conversation and get to know each other prior to going to the archery shoot and us talking there too. But we were able to sit down and chat. So
yeah, I appreciate it. And,
yeah, if you want to chat some, I got tons of stories.
I would definitely like to pick your brain even further on surf fishing, and then I'm always down to hear some good.
Yeah, I'm not no professional, but I can give you my experiences. I can give you my techniques. I really my stuff, my techniques and everything's always changing all the time. So I usually don't try to stay with one technique or one bait or whatever. I'm always like changing, trying something new.
Yep.
Whatever it may be.
I mean, one thing works one day, one thing works.
Yeah.
And you never know until you try it out.
Yeah.
That's really good. Next, I think we're gonna have to go fishing together sometime.
Yeah. I don't know when you're leaving, but it'd be pretty cool to.
Yeah, I've got a couple more months.
Okay.
And then I've got some. You said your days off are kind of weird, but I've got some time off coming up in the next 2 weeks. Maybe we could. We'll see what we can do.
Yeah, I'll let you know my schedule, and we'll get on the water and try and catch something.
And then, before we get off, go ahead and plug your socials real quick.
Mansera Outdoors on everything. Instagram. I don't really do too much on Facebook. YouTube, Mansera Outdoors. For those that are getting into surf fishing, my buddy has a shop called hooktocook.shop that you can, if you're a beginner, this is the shop to buy your stuff, or you can go into our local tackle shop, been there, caught that. They'll have the rods and everything. But my buddy has literally everything that you need for surf fishing. And then, anybody that's getting into it, just ask your tackle shop, or, go on YouTube, check out Google Maps. That's my advice. That's where I started, was Google Maps, tackle shop, YouTube.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing that, and thanks for sharing the show with me. Appreciate you, man.
I appreciate it.
Thanks for tuning in to the Mountains Are Everywhere podcast. If you want to stay up to date, be sure to subscribe or follow wherever you listen to your podcasts. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I can't wait to bring you another one. Until then, you keep climbing, and I promise I'll be climbing too.